Hi, everyone, and welcome to our fourth podcast. I'm Thom Robbins, your host, and I'm really excited today to have joining me Juraj Ondrus, who is our Customer Care Manager for Kentico CMS. Hi, Juraj. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. Why don't we start with, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Customer Care Manager at Kentico Software. I'm with Kentico for the last 4 years. I joined Kentico when it was a small company, just few people. I was one of the first support engineers on the customer care department, and it was right few months before I finished my studies at the Brno University of Technology, where I studied the computer science.
So you joined in the early days. How many employees were there when you joined?
If I'm right, I was the 9th or 10th employee of Kentico Software, so around 10 people at that time 4 years ago.
Wow. So I know I've seen, obviously, and I've been to the new office. Where did you guys start? I mean, what were your offices like back in those days?
I was interviewed in our CEO's bedroom, because the first office was in his house, in his living room. They were sitting the developers. But when I started working at Kentico, we just moved small office space in a former factory building in the industrial area in Brno. There were, I think, 3 or 4 office rooms, and we were also hiring new people. So in 2 or 3 months, we were growing up to, I think, 15 employees. So yeah, it was, I don't know how to say it, but there's something like garage company, there's just basic equipment and everything. And after the 4 or 5 years, we can see the huge improvement, because right now we are in the center of Brno city, in a very modern and fancy office space and office building. So it's a huge improvement in that short time.
Absolutely. So you said that you had joined Kentico while you were still studying computer science. What brought you to computer science?
Well, I think every boy likes machines and likes to dismantle them and everything. So that was what I was curious about, how it works inside at that time, the desktop, the big boxes, the gray boxes and everything. And also, I was always into mathematics and physics. I liked that way, the computing and, all the semiconductors and signals are going through the cables and whatever. I was like a little boy, always interesting. I always dismantled all the cars. I got, the battery cars on the remote controller. I always dismantled at the first time.
So you were a tinkerer, someone who took stuff apart.
yeah, but not together again.
No, that's actually good. So when you were in college, how did you hear about Kentico, and what brought you to Kentico? You were still studying when you started working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just before the end of my studies, so I was looking for on the job offers. But one of my former schoolmates, Jacob, was already working at Kentico as a developer, and he mentioned to me that they are opening the support department. So I applied for the job, and I was successful, and here am I as a customer care manager.
Excellent. One of the big things that I know I get asked a lot is, how is Kentico Support structured?
At that time, 4 years ago, there were just 4 support engineers. It was like one level. We took care about every support request or every issue. And as our customer base growth, we had to employ or hire new support staff. So right now we are about 9 people in Czech Republic, 2 people in the United States, and we are looking for 2 more support engineers in Czech Republic. And we have a support engineer level, something like a junior position, and then there are senior support engineers with some responsibilities in particular modules of Kentico CMS. And then, if needed, we escalate the issues to the developers or technical leaders for more deeper sight into the issue and so on.
So how does someone become, and this is something I know I always am interested in, and I hear this question from customers as well. how do you become a senior engineer or a solution architect? So if I were to start as just a support engineer, how do I become more senior or a solution?
Depends also on the time you are working as a support engineer, on the length of your employment, and during the time you have to show you are interested into your self-development, self-studying, you are responsible, your answers and help to the customers is outstanding. And there are also some statistics we are following, so you have to have a productivity on some level during some time, and then there are some tests. You need to pass some exams. How good you are in Kentico CMS, or something like basic tests like in school. You will get tests on content staging, web farms, and other modules. And the same with solution architect. This is more advanced because you have to go through the development training. So when we hire a new developer, they have a development training. So you need to do the same, create a sample module, follow all the coding rules, and basically takes a month or two when you will be like a developer, and then you will have to pass the senior developer test. So the solution architect is a senior support engineer together with a light senior developer.
When you think about it, and I often hear from our customers, that they send emails, they call, they can go through the forums. How do you guys look at that as well as interacting with our customers?
Well, we try to solve the issue as soon as possible. And as you mentioned, the forums, we have the DevNet portal for the developers community or web developers community. There are also many knowledge-based articles and FAQs, and also on the forums there is a community of the developers who are helping each other and answering their questions. But we are also keeping a close eye on the forums and trying to answer the forum threads and posts, as well as the tickets we get through the email. And also when someone calls us, we answer it immediately. And right now we have a statistics for the incoming tickets and the average response time. So right now, for the last month, it was 4 hours. So we answered in average every support issue sent by email within 4 hours. The average, or we answer more than 90% tickets within 24 hours. So within the next business day, including weekends.
Wow, Juraj, that's pretty fantastic. I mean, most companies I've seen can't answer questions that quickly. I mean, how do you guys do that?
We always want to be very close to the customers. So a few months ago, we launched a new office in Seattle, Washington State, in the United States, to cover the time all around the world. So we are basically answering the tickets 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's why we are able to answer the issues so quickly. And basically the Seattle office will cover the time when in Europe is night, but day in the United States, and vice versa. In our Czech office, we are covering the rest of the world while America is sleeping.
What kind of questions do you guys get? I know that's kind of a really broad question, but what are some of the most common questions that you see from our customers?
Yeah, the area of questions is very, very wide, but it depends also if the customer is using the CMS for few weeks or for few months or years. But basically the questions are, how do I do this, or how do I customize this? Because everyone wants to have their website to be different from the other website, to be outstanding and more visited and first in the search engine results. So Kentico CMS is a very powerful tool, and you can do many things with it, but sometimes you have to ask, how do I configure the repeater, or to achieve this in the best way, or how do I design my content tree? And we are giving to the people, to the customers, best practices and advices from our experience from previous projects we were involved to, how to do things in Kentico CMS.
And how do you turn these into FAQs? I know a lot of our customers, including myself, keep an eye on these. But how does an FAQ actually get created? Is it something that results from support tickets, or is it something that you guys hear a lot of questions around?
I think both. basically someone will ask a question or submit a support ticket, and we think it might be useful for many other customers. So we will create a knowledge base article or FAQ, and also sometimes we are doing, basically when we are reproducing some customer's behavior or issue, we find out that, this would be good to have on the DevNet portal so our customers can find the answer faster and don't have to wait on our reply. So that's the way how the knowledge base articles and FAQs are created.
And how do you guys interact with our development staff? So, I mean, a lot of times, it's software, so there's always bugs. But do you guys work with the developers on new features or, that kind of thing?
Yeah. We try also to forward the customers' suggestions for new modules, features, and other things to the development department. But also we are using the CMS, the user interface, in a different way than the developers are. So we are more like the customers. We also suggest them, this button is on the wrong place. It should be, for example. So, we try to, we are in touch every day and several times per day.
We switch topics a little bit. I always like to ask everyone, what's their favorite feature of Kentico and why? Why do they like those features?
It's a very tough question for me because I have the wide knowledge of the CMS, but the favorite feature is the CMS itself because it's a very powerful tool to build your website, and you can build the website very, very fast if you need. Within few hours, you can use the predefined website templates. But particular maybe content staging and web form synchronization because they allow the team development and they are pretty complex and very useful. They are, I think, one of the most used features in Kentico CMS.
And so what kind of uses do you see customers using content staging and web form synchronization?
What kind of issues or?
Well, what kind of issues do you see with those?
Mm-hmm. The content staging and web form synchronization is basically between two physical machines. So there are many issues with the communication between the servers in the network setup. There are firewalls, other web servers, and everything. And also regarding the security, you need to ensure the secure channel when communicating between the machines if you are doing content staging to the live environment. So, and if you are using when you are staging, for example, user accounts and their passwords and so on, so you need to ensure the security. And the most issues are with the .NET framework or bad configuration for particular environment because every company has a different security policy on their network. They have the DMZ zone, the demilitarized zone. So there are sometimes pretty strict security restrictions, so we need to find workarounds how to set up Kentico to work correctly because in our environment we are not able to reproduce or test every possible setup on the network.
So if you were to hear from a customer who was looking at setting up content staging and web form synchronization, what would be kind of the top 3 things you would tell them as far as advice and things that they should think about as they look to set this up?
They need to ensure that the servers are listening to each other, so there is kind of direct way between them. Then ensure the connection to the database is okay if it is on different machine. And ensure all the settings as described in our documentation. We have pretty step-by-step description how to set up content staging and web form synchronization. Sometimes it happens that someone will miss one step, and it's very, very important to follow all the steps because everything depends on another.
So, and you had talked about our documentation. What do you think are some of the best resources for Kentico developers as well as .NET developers? What kinds of things would you recommend that people take a look at to understand our system more?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, the DevNet portal, the devnet.kentico.com website, there is section documentation where our customers can find all available documentation. But in particular, I would recommend the Developer's Guide, the Kentico CMS Developer's Guide, where are all the modules described in very detailed way, and also that there is a development section. There is described the development process, how to develop the website, and also how to where are the objects like document types, page templates, web parts, described how to create custom web parts, custom document types, and also there are API examples on custom event handlers, custom providers, and macros, web config parameters. So the developer's guide is very strong documentation, or very powerful, where you can find information you need.
Okay. Are there any particular blogs that you would tell people to follow, whether they're on Kentico or out in the .NET world? Are there any blogs that you read on a regular basis?
I'm following our DevNet blogs, especially our CTO's, Martin Heitmanek blog, because he's posting the posts as a very experienced .NET developer, so he's talking mostly about the caching, performance, and code optimizations, which is very useful for the developers, web developers, and when they are creating their own applications or integrating third-party applications or web parts or whatever. And also we have one MVP developer. It's Juraj Ondrus from Netherlands, and he has his own blog where he's posting his experience and knowledge about Kentico CMS. So these two blogs are very, very good for Kentico.
So as we start to wind down, is there anything that you'd like to tell people around our support group, or ways that they can contact you if they have any questions?
Yeah, sure. Also, I would like to mention that we are starting the official 24/7 support in a few weeks. Right now we are in a kind of testing phase, but we will be available for everyone all around the world, and the customers can contact us via email. The email address is support@kentico.com. They can also they can also call us. For the United States and Canada customers, they can call us on the number 866-328-8998. And the international customers or clients or potential customers can also call us on our landline number, which is +420 511 180 800. And we will answer the question as soon as possible and as best as we can.
Well, thank you, Juraj. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And for everyone listening, we hope that you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you too. It was my pleasure. Have a nice day.
Thanks.